your soldier of truth, the tip of the spear against socialists. Good to have you here, ready to fight for you from the foxhole of freedom and giving you better analysis than anyone else while defending this great nation. It is the Steve Gruber Show. Man, it's been a big week. Here are three big things you need to know for this hour. Number one, John Kerry and his fellow globalist cult members are continuing to attack farming, the latest target of the so-called Green New Deal. Strange, they want to plow farms under. Number two, Barack Obama apparently met with Joe Biden in June and told him clearly that Donald Trump, no matter what they throw at him, should not be underestimated and could certainly win in 2024. And number three, I never thought I would see the day that my nation, my beloved America, founded on the greatest governing documents ever conceived, would be charging politicians with crimes for giving political speeches. It's truly a heartbreaking point in history and one that must be put down like a rabid dog. This attack on the First Amendment by way of Donald Trump cannot stand. It should not matter whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, or somebody who doesn't care about politics. If you are not appalled by the attacks on free speech being carried out by the same guy that had convictions against the former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell thrown out by a unanimous 9-0 vote of the United States Supreme Court, Jack Smith, that is, then you're not paying attention at all. Jack Smith has wandered so far afield that he is using a post-Civil War statute designed to rein in the Ku Klux Klan, try to pin something, anything, on the former president. The latest charges are the weakest of all. These are really a disgrace. After being arraigned in D.C., President Trump spoke to a few reporters for a few moments before he got back on his plane and headed back to New Jersey. He stopped and told them this. Listen.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very sad day for America. And it was also very sad driving through Washington, D.C. and seeing the filth and the decay and all of the broken buildings and walls and the graffiti. This is not the place that I left. It's a very sad thing to see it. When you look at what's happening, this is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America. This is the persecution of the person that's leading by very, very substantial numbers in the Republican primary and leading Biden by a lot. So if you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him. We can't let this happen in America. Thank you very much, everybody.
Now, not far away, pretty good comments there. You can't let this stand. Not far away, one of the president's attorneys laid out the strange relationship between the spreading scandals involving both Hunter Biden and now the implication that his father, Joe Biden, was taking in millions of dollars to. With the timing of the charges aimed at Donald Trump, it's been uncanny, hasn't it? Just absolutely uncanny. Alina Habba, attorney for Trump, calls out the side-by-side comparison of the Biden crime scandals and the charges against Trump as the leading candidate for the Republicans. It is quite remarkable, breathtaking, really. Listen.
On March 17th, Hunter accidentally admits that it was his laptop from hell. The next day, DA Alvin Bragg indicts President Trump. June 8th, an FBI document is released showing that the Ukrainians paid the Biden crime family millions and millions of dollars. The next day, the Mar-a-Lago raid and the Mar-a-Lago indictment. Last week, Hunter Biden's sweetheart plea deal fell through when the judge realized it had blanket immunity. The following day, a superseding indictment against Donald Trump. July 31st, Devin Archer goes to testify in front of the House. That was only after they failed to put him in jail prior to the fact. What happens the next day? The January 6th indictment that we're here for today. This is not a coincidence. This is election interference at its finest against the leading candidate right now for president, for either party. President Trump is under siege in a way that we have never seen before. President Trump and his legal team and everyone on his team will continue to fight, not for him, but for the American people.
Remarkable, isn't it, when you hear it side by side? This happened the next day. This happened the next day. This happened the next day. Alina Habba there. All of that is suspect, but what What's really going on here? Well, it's time we peel away the whitewash, get to the facts of the matter, and the fact is this. Jack Smith is a political operative. He's the latest trying to take out Joe Biden's number one opponent in the upcoming presidential election, period. He's almost making up charges out of thin air. That's how weak these are. And that comes from a long time, well-respected constitutional attorney who is also a Democrat. He says the same thing. Jonathan Turley, about the most level-headed analyst on all of this Trump warfare on TV being waged by Democrats and their hysterical partners in the media, the other media outlets. And the biggest target of all is the First Amendment. If we can just silence these people, if we can just shut these people up, then we won't have a problem. But they've opened the door to discovery. Man, are they in trouble. Listen to Jonathan Turley.
But the most jarring thing about this indictment is that it basically just accuses him of disinformation. This is a disinformation indictment. It says that you were spreading falsehoods, that you were undermining the integrity of the election. That's all part of the First Amendment, and I think that courts will look skeptically. He might have a fair shot with a D.C. jury and maybe a D.C. judge. He's going to have a harder time with the courts. And this reminds me of sort of the McDowell complaint, where he took the Virginia governor, got a conviction, and then it was unanimously overturned by the Supreme Court. It is a bridge too far. And one of the things I was looking for is I assumed that Smith had this type of aha moment, that there's something in there that the January 6th committee didn't find, that supported. We heard about witness tampering. It's not in there. I mean, everything in this indictment is basically what has been discussed in the news. Now, by the way, the other thing that is not in here is conspiracy for incitement. Not in here is a seditious conspiracy. Those were the claims that Democrats used in the impeachment and said that the evidence was absolutely clear. People like Schiff and others said that he's clearly guilty of those crimes. Well, they're not in here.
Yeah, remarkable. There's no insurrection. There's no sedition, because there isn't. This case is going to get tossed. This case is going to get tossed. This is a direct attack on the First Amendment of the United States Constitution that even some liberal justices still respect, believe it or not. It's true. Because if the First Amendment no longer covers the free discussion of ideas, well, a lot of folks are going to be in trouble. I'm going to explain that quite clearly after the break. I'm good to have you here as we get started. Remember, you can always go to stevegruber.com. Send me a note. Tell me what's going on in your neck of the woods. What's happening over in your part of the country. stevegruber.com. Drop me a note. Maybe give me a lead on a hot story. Always interested in that. stevegruber.com. Check it out. You've got Liberty Page to help you grow up big and strong. The articles that I'm writing, John Solomon, Just the News, Center Square. It's a tremendous resource of smart, common sense, commentary, and news. stevegruber.com. I think you'll like it, and you can send me a note. I'll have more on the First Amendment after the break.